I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Would there be enough interest to address the qualia topic in another thread? I would certainly benefit from both your views on the subject. My knowledge regarding relationships is pretty good within specific fields, and whenever someone in the relationship advice thread asks a question that falls within that sphere, I offer it. When the question falls outside that sphere, where I am completely ignorant, I remain silent. A few minutes later it is deleted. It's called apnea training. I used to do it until I was 15, when, sleep deprived and hungry, I drowned while swimming 100 m underwater. I was dead for between 3 and 7 minutes. By the pool's camera recordings, was resuscitated and spent a month in hospital with tubes in me undergoing horrible tests. I can still hold my breath for 5 minutes. Oh. It's called apnea training. If you take a photo of your weird angle broken arm, that's cool. Any indicator of parasites, whether they be micro or macro, is a massive turn off to me. Of course, that doesn't bother me with just a friend. It's called apnea training. It's called apnea training. I used to believe that giraffes were descended from long-necked dinosaurs, that all liquids were solutions in either water or alcohol, and that these two liquids were mixed up versions of each other, that my father was just waiting for a chance to kill me. I had a bike accident near him and was convinced that he caused it, hoping that I would suffer a serious compression. I also developed a type of self-hypnosis/meditation that I was convinced would eventually allow me to stop my heart and appear to act out of natural causes. I was eventually able to slow it right down, but never stop it permanently. I also tried to reprogram my brain. I'm not sure whether I was successful. In retrospect, I was kind of a boring kid. It's called apnea training. We should avoid addressing the mechanistic view of the human brain as though it was synonymous with the various psychological theories that predict human behavior. Since these result from statistical observation, whether conscious or not, their accuracy has little to do with the accuracy of the mechanistic claim. Very few people nowadays ascribe free will to the weather. The most accurate model we have is for a complex, iterative and chaotic mechanistic system. These two hot lesbian friends of mine, 7 and 7.5, but hotter because they are lesbians, invited me over for coffee in the afternoon. We chatted for hours and had ever so much fun. I was completely stunned when they informed me that they were going out for dinner and asked me what I was doing that evening. It hadn't even occurred to me that the answer wasn't them. So I ended up drifting around parties filled with couples and got bored. Then I finished up this really hard program I've been working on my Debian blocks, which is the happiest ending of all. It's called apnea training. I've only done this with fresh duck, but make sure you don't rupture its GI tract. That shit stinks and is toxic. I have had issues with disrespectful police before. I understand why they might get cranky, but it's weird when people act like they are an authority over you, and not your employees. As an occasional taxpayer, I employ the police to protect the peace. I will comply with their requests insofar as society mandates, fairly, I believe, but I will not act as though I am their subordinate. I've come close to being arrested for not responding to rude cops, but they always back down. Most of the time, I'm not feeling anything. I save up strong feelings for once or twice a day. Sometimes, when I take PZP, I stay awake for a couple of days without even trying. If it's legal in your country, that'll do the trick. Your mind stays extra clear and your legs keep moving. Just ignore this. You won't be able to sleep, even if you want to, and you have to decide to eat. You won't get hungry. It's called apnea training.
Come on.
It's called apnea training. It's called apnea training. In the science blog bathrooms, 26 plus 6 equals 1, it refers to the unity of Ireland. 26 are I counties plus 6 NI counties makes one nation. At first I wanted to add 0 and base left parenthesis 32, but eventually went with the simpler mod left parenthesis 31. I've avoided body mods for a while now. I don't want Interpol to add anything to put on the posters, at least until cyber implants are full. But the sublingual frenectomy has changed my find. Most of the time, I'm not feeling anything. I save up strong feelings for once or twice a day. It's called apnea training. I feel some small irrational pull towards moral action, much like I feel a pull towards steak, sex, and violence. There is no sense in which it doesn't feel like a similar partially obsolete biological drive. In essence, I do not feel a supremo. I feel another appetite for my id. Are we supposed to wait hello? What the hell? I just posted 100% perfect advice at some I needed to hear in the relationship advice thread. Gone. It's called apnea training. What's wrong with women is they always have to be feeling something and assume everyone else does too. My knowledge regarding relationships is pretty good. Robocop 2. Jesus Christ, it is amazing. It is important to practice going without sleep, food or water, though probably not all at once. It's called apnea training. My knowledge regarding relationships is pretty good. Women have to add the medium investment, medium reward strategy. I prefer the Genghis Khan, high risk, high reward, conquest and pillage, reproductive strategy. Wash your hands and remove bones. Wash the duck and enjoy. Some people report tongue lead jetting of an inch extra tongue. An inch extra tongue. An inch extra tongue. It's called apnea training. What's wrong with women is they always have to be feeling something and assume everyone else does too. Most of the time, I'm not feeling anything. I save up strong feelings for once or twice a day. I haven't yet had someone in my life who is more important to me than me. It's called apnea training. Reading this thread reaffirmed my desire not to act children. I've always figured that as long as I don't act any to close relationships, the worst thing that could happen to me is death. And that's not so bad. Even if I get cancer of the AIDS, I can always just kill myself whenever I feel like it. Problem solved. Hell, I can jump out of a plane without a parachute with a knife between my teeth or borrow money, buy some heroin and go piss off a shark. Go out dramatically. Not that I necessarily would. It's just nice to know that things don't get worse than that. Except one time when I woke up and couldn't move my body. Not sleep paralysis. I was real paralyzed for hours during the day until my flatmates heard my groans. It was the temporary result of a neck injury a few days earlier and I'd been walking a few days later, but I didn't know that. All I knew I wouldn't be able to kill myself and I couldn't really expect anyone else to do it, if things got bad enough. And the prospect of living, watching my muscles soften, not being able to go wherever and read and do and take whatever I want. It's how I imagine marriage feels. John Lofty Wiseman, motherfucker. Case closed.